Hi, this is Mrs. Solano, and today I'm going to talk about congruence and orientation of dilations. So this problem is already in our ISN, so we're going to go ahead and do this problem together. Now when I am finished with this example, you need to go ahead and do the problem at the bottom. So go ahead and do this problem at the bottom, and we will discuss this problem in class. So right now we're going to go ahead and work on this first problem. Okay, now let's talk about congruence. Another word for congruence is congruent. So congruent means exactly the same shape and size. So if I'm looking at these two triangles and it's saying, are the triangles congruent? Well, even though they are exactly the same shape, they're not the same size. So therefore, these are not congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and say, the two triangles are not congruent because they are not the same size. So remember, they have to be the same shape and size in order for them to be congruent. Now let's go ahead and talk about, do the triangles have the same orientation? Okay, so orientation. Another word for orientation is direction. Okay, so the direction is the way we read a figure. So direction is the way we read a figure. Now we can read a figure either in two directions. So we could read it clockwise, like a clock, it's going clockwise, or we could read a figure counterclockwise. Going the opposite way, it's counterclockwise. Okay, so that's what orientation is. It's the way that we're going to read a figure. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this figure and see if the triangles have the same orientation. So when we're reading a figure, it does not matter which letter you start with. You pick a letter, but what's important is that you have to read the figure in the same direction. Okay? So for this one, for example, I'm going to start with C, the letter C. Now I'm going to go ahead and go clockwise. So I'm going to start with C, and then I'm going to read it C, B, D. So I'm going to go ahead and write here that it was C, B, D. So I just went this way and drew my arrow. Okay, so that's clockwise. So then I have to pick the same letter. Again, I have to start with the same letter and read it in the same direction. So I'm starting with C prime. So C prime, B prime, D prime. So I have C prime, B prime, D prime. Okay, so now I can see that these letters, I'm reading them in the same order. Because C, B, D, it's C prime, B prime, D prime. Okay, so orientation is preserved with this. Now if I go ahead and try another example, that's why I drew these triangles here down as well, to show that it doesn't matter which letter and which direction that you read it. So let's say, for instance, I chose B, to start with B. So I'm starting here at B. Well, maybe this time I want to go ahead and go counterclockwise. So this one here is going to be C, I started with B, C, and then I went ahead and have here D. So B, C, D. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start with the same letter, B prime, and I have to read it in the same direction. So I'm going here counterclockwise, and this time I have B prime, C prime, and D prime. So I have it here, the orientation is still exactly the same. Now even though in this one here, even with this one here, I didn't start with the same letter, and I didn't go in the same direction, I'm still reading it the same way. So B, C, D, B prime, C prime, D prime. Therefore, orientation, do the triangles have the same orientation? Yes. How do you know? The two triangles have the same orientation, and I know this because I read them the same. So I'm still reading them the same, therefore they have the same orientation, and orientation is preserved. So now that we've done this example, I need you to go ahead and do the following example, and we will discuss this in class. Thank you for your time.